Welcome to the Beyond Sugar Freedom podcast. I'm your host, Danielle Dame, holistic nutrition coach and speaker. Let's dive in. Hello, welcome back. I am so excited to be recording this episode because today I'm going to be answering all of your questions, all of the wonderments and questions about the upcoming Sugar Freedom Embodiment Retreat. So I know you've been hearing me talk about it here on the podcast for the last few weeks. And for those who follow me on social media, you've seen me obviously posting about the first ever retreat that I am hosting, focusing on helping women who are ready to fully dive deep and heal their root causes that are keeping them addicted to sugar year after year. And I'm going to talk about today the importance in our healing journey of being connected in person and why I am actually hosting this retreat in this way versus the hugely successful online courses that I know so many of you have already come through and participated in. So why a retreat? I want to answer that and so many other questions about like what's included in the retreat, what you can expect, what sort of activities we're going to be going into, what makes this retreat radically different than anything that you've ever participated in the past, and obviously so much more. So that is the purpose of today's episode. I want to share all the nitty-gritty details with you beyond what I've already shared, on social media and obviously on the registration page. So before we dive into all of that I'm so excited to just totally blow the doors wide open and share with you some really deep reasons and the journey that it has taken me on to even create this retreat and invite all of you to join. I want to remind you, at the time of recording this episode, there are only 6 spots left. So I'm so excited. There's a handful of spots obviously still available for you. So don't panic, but we are getting close to the cutoff date and obviously the time of the retreat. So don't wait. If you're, listen to this episode and you feel that calling to come and join us, the dates are obviously July 27th to 31st, and the retreat is taking place on a beautiful Bowen Island, which is a small Gulf island off the coast of Vancouver, BC. So this is also a really neat opportunity. I know so many of you either live in the States or all over the world actually listening to this podcast, get an opportunity to come and not only experience the healing that we're going to do together, but the beauty of British Columbia and Canada, and really come and hang out with me in my backyard, almost my backyard, not quite, but close. And I'm so excited to just share. I'm so passionate about where I live and the beauty and the nature and the energy that this land holds. And it feels like I'm inviting all of you over into my home. And that's definitely the energy that I'm going to be bringing into this retreat and proudly showing off our beautiful nature and ocean and just this incredible, the animals and the wildlife and just everything that this part of the world has to offer. So this is kind of really neat because I know actually all of the women who have already said yes and registered are coming from somewhere in the United States so far. So that's pretty cool because I know that they are coming early or staying late and combining it with a bit of a trip, exploring the area, exploring Vancouver, exploring Whistler, exploring some of the coastline here, and maybe even bringing their husbands, not obviously to the retreat, but making this sort of a summer vacation combination, right? With some self-healing as well as this beautiful getaway. So I just want to point that out because this is something that I'm noticing some of the participants already do, and it feels really, really beautiful. So that's it, July 27th to 31st. It's 4 nights, 5 days, and there's a handful of spots left in our shared accommodation. I'm going to actually talk about accommodation today because I know there's been some questions coming through about that. But I want to really start things off here in this episode with obviously, we're going to talk about connection, but it feels really important for me to share with all of you why I'm hosting this retreat. Why am I putting this together? Because the honest truth with all of you, hosting a retreat is a lot of work. There is a lot I am learning, I'm having to do for the very first time, as opposed to obviously hosting my programs online, which I love doing, but I have that down pat, right? And it's there's less logistics, right? There's just figuring out Zoom and that's it. And obviously lots of things behind the scenes, but hosting an in-person event in this way is a lot of work. It is a huge undertaking for me in terms of organization and planning and coordinating and getting everything set up. So it is the most transformational, incredible 5 days of your life. So why am I willing to put in that effort, right? Why bother? And for me, it's become really, really deeply clear that a huge part of my path and passion and purpose on this planet is gathering women to heal. And I do this in my online courses for anyone who's joined the Break Free from Sugar program or my emotional empowerment program, or anyone who's in my monthly membership, Sugar Freedom Collective community. You know that I love hosting our group events. I love bringing different speakers and different people together and bringing us together. And that is incredible. And I'm so proud of how well I've done. And for any of you who've ever participated in my programs, you know what type of community and safe space I create that is so important for our healing. And the real honest truth is there are things that we just cannot do virtually. We cannot. As much as we try and we do that, it's just not anywhere near the same as being in the flesh with a human being. We're going to talk about this when we talk about connection, but this is one of the huge reasons why I want to create this space for us, for women who are ready to actually come together and be in the magic that is actually beyond words. When we gather together in a retreat type setting, right? Everyone who's attending, commit to really creating this container together for multiple days. So this is beyond a 2-hour Zoom call, right? This is 5 days of beautiful work and fun and play and healing and vulnerability and emotional releasing. And the whole combination of what we're going to be doing is, and I've seen this in my own life. I've been to multiple retreats, from yoga retreats to my somatic embodiment training that I did in January, to various other types of, self-development or just spiritual healing, or just relaxation retreats. They all kind of have a different flavor to them. And every time I put myself in that container with other women who are committed to the same work, they're there for the same reasons. Ultimately, it quantifies and duplicates or triples our healing ability. So as much as we can do on Zoom, when we intensely spend multiple days together with the same women in the same container with the same intention, transformations happen at warp speed, right? We can do so much more when we are focused for 5 days on one thing. Right? We're not distracted by the world around us. We don't have other responsibilities. We are there. We are present. We are focused. We are committed. And we get to really heal at a deeper level than we can in even 6 months, of weekly calls, right? There's something different that happens when we create that presence for multiple days. And I know I've talked about this before in my practice of my solo retreats that I take myself away on. I notice that it takes me like a day to let go of my to-do lists and to really drop in. And on day 2 and 3, I'm really starting to let go. I'm really starting to connect with my higher self and feel more aligned and listen to my intuition more. So we need the extended amount of time together in order to really unlock deeper levels of healing. And we just cannot do this on Zoom. We cannot. We're all in our own worlds. We've all got distractions going on at home. We're pulled in many different directions. Subconsciously and even consciously, we are not able to drop in. We're not able to access those deeper layers of our subconscious when we're in that setting. So this is the main reason why I'm hosting this retreat, is so that we can create and access these deeper levels of healing that are ultimately at the root of your addictive patterns with food. And for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I always preach, like, our relationship with sugar, with food, is just a mirror. It's just a reflection of our relationship with ourselves. Right? Sugar freedom is an inside job. I often say that quote because it really is all about what is going on inside. And in our everyday lives, day to day, being in our house with all the distractions, our to-do lists, it is really, really difficult to access those layers of emotions, of trauma, of root causes that need to be healed. And to then have the opportunity to heal them, let alone access them, right? We can understand that there's a certain trauma pattern that's causing us to binge and cope with sugar. We can understand a lot of this. And this actually just came up recently on my weekly group call with my current emotional empowerment program. Was like, okay, I know now that, I didn't get this attachment and this love that I needed in childhood from my mom, or I had this traumatic event happen. And I can see now that that is why I'm coping and numbing out with food. But what do I do about it? Right. And of course, we can do things on Zoom about it and virtually for sure. And we do that in my programs, but it's not the same. I'll be the first to admit it. It is not anywhere near the same. Right. It's like chatting with your best friend on the phone versus getting together for lunch, right? And being able to hug, being able to look into each other's eyes. We create such a different level of connection when we're actually together. Another reason why I want to host this retreat, beyond that, a little side fun fact. A lot of you don't know this about me because it's not something that I've honestly been practicing, but one of my superpowers is organizing, hosting events. There was actually a time before I started my business, as the sugar freedom expert and the nutrition schooling that I took, was to possibly get into event planning. I love hosting. I've actually was in charge of running my sister-in-law's wedding, and I really love leading and orchestrating and coordinating events. I have lots of experience doing that in university and even outside of university, and it's something that I've kind of pushed aside in myself, to be honest with you, to really focus on all the work that I'm doing online and virtually to support all of you. And this is something that deeply within me is calling to be accessed again, is calling to be utilized. I love like putting the schedule together and orchestrating. There's a lot of logistics going on in the back end that you're not seeing here about this retreat. And it just really lights me up. And even thinking about running this retreat and leading all of the women who are joining for this week, leading them through, the exercises and our day. And I love it. I love doing that. I love bringing women together in this way, holding space in this way, and planning. So I'm getting to really tap into a lot of my skills that I haven't been honoring. And I know that what I'm creating is going to be so powerful and fun. Really, I'm going to have so much fun. I love this. This is my purpose, my passion. Another fun fact actually here is this is not the first time I've hosted a retreat. I keep saying that this is my first retreat, and technically this is my first Sugar Freedom retreat. I have hosted and planned and organized and hosted one retreat in the past. This must have been 6 years ago now, with a fellow friend, colleague in the business space. And the retreat was actually focused for entrepreneurs. So we had sort of like an entrepreneurial co-working retreat here on the island where I live. And that was really beautiful and really fun as well, but a very different theme, very different focus. We were there to more mastermind as business owners and connect in that way, versus what we're doing at this retreat, which feels so much more in alignment with my purpose and what I'm here to do and help women really heal their addictive patterns with food and sugar and learn how to step fully into their power. So a couple fun facts that maybe you didn't know about me. Okay, so I want to now answer this question, because a lot of you are probably sitting there wondering, what the heck is sugar freedom embodiment? Like, what does it mean to actually embody sugar freedom? And what does the word embodiment even mean? I know this is a word that I'm becoming more comfortable with, and I know it's not mainstream. This is kind of a weird woo-woo word that doesn't really make sense when it comes to sugar. Like, how is sugar embodied? Like, what the heck does that mean? For me, embodiment is all about really living in a way that is alignment with your higher self. So when I talk about sugar freedom embodiment, what I'm talking about here is at this retreat, you're going to be becoming a new version of yourself. And this version of yourself is not just going to think healthy thoughts, but she's going to live from the body a place of grounded, peaceful happiness and freedom. So when we can think, that we're free from sugar, right? And we do all the mindset work. The word embodiment here is really bringing in the understanding that we can think all we want, but if our body doesn't believe us, or our body and our cells are not operating as that new version of us, nothing's going to change. Especially the work that we're going to be doing around our nervous system, right? And around really learning how to repattern, which is in our body where all of our trauma is stored and all of our emotional baggage is stored. That's in the body. So to embody sugar freedom really means fully embodying this new version of you that no longer lets food rule your everyday, and living from this nervous system imprint, a new nervous system imprint, a new software system that ultimately no longer uses food to cope or escape, and has new tools to feel emotions, to honor when life gets hard, to deal with the ups and downs of life without needing to escape and cope. So it's ultimately getting to a place where you feel safe in your body again. And to embody sugar freedom means to really live your life and make your decisions and operate in your day-to-day life from a place of no longer having food control you, right? And no longer having the cravings and the mental chatter and the obsession rule your every day and your every thought. So that to me is what embodiment means here. And really, embodiment beyond the conversation of food is about really being connected with your body. And we're going to be doing a lot of that work, because one of the biggest problems, ladies, one of the biggest challenges here is that we have become disconnected from our body. We do not trust our bodies. We do not know how to listen to its signals. We don't even know how to feel. I know a lot of you, and some of the women who've already registered can't even feel. And this is so normal, because we have disconnected from our body our whole lives because it wasn't a safe space to hang out. So when we embody ourselves again, that is what we're going to be doing at this retreat, is not only tuning into who you truly are and your higher self, but reconnecting with your intuition, reconnecting with the signals of your body, which is where we're going to be bringing in a lot of somatic work, which is really about getting you back in your body as a safe place to be. So learning that it's safe to be in your body again, and repatterning the nervous system to believe that and to know that, so that you don't need to escape when life gets hard. So this is what I wanted to say about embodiment. And we're going to be doing a lot of that. Really, like I said, tuning into the body, becoming aware of what your body feels like and how it moves and where it hurts and where it needs more attention and the signals that it's sending you, and what is your intuition saying and what's your truth, right? Learning to trust yourself again, your inner messenger, and the wisdom and all the answers to your challenges are within you. So we're going to learn how to stop outsourcing not only your health-related decisions, but everything in your life. Because most of us have spent our lives looking outside of ourselves for all the answers, looking to doctors and experts and governments and teachers and parents to tell us what we should do. So this is a big journey we're going to be taking to support you in stepping fully into your power, to trust your inner voice again and trust yourself. And this is life-changing. And this is why I'm hosting this retreat, because this type of work needs to be done in this container of multiple days of work together, because we're going to be building each day on this. And each day getting more and more connected with what it means for you to be in your power and connected with your true self. So another question that I'm getting here, because you'll see, any of you who have looked at the registration page, you'll see that it is an application process to join this retreat. There's no register now, pay now button on this page. And I want you to know that that was very thoroughly thought out. This is the first time I've ever actually done an application process. I don't have this for my online programs. But one of the things that I am taking the highest importance for me in creating this space in person is that we have the right women that are here for the right reasons, that are willing to create and co-create this network of safety. So I am taking it very seriously to to screen each of you who apply, and to get on a call with you so we can really check in. Are you prepared to, and willing to support other women in this way, to show up fully, to respect everyone and be kind? There's a lot of pieces that are going to be really important. The energy of this retreat and this 5 days together is my utmost highest priority. And your safety and feeling safe to be yourself, feeling safe to be vulnerable, feeling safe to share emotions and difficult stories is my number one priority. And that is exactly why this is an application process. This retreat is not for everybody. And I need to make sure that you are willing to, and just willing. You don't have to be perfect at it. I mean, we're going to be doing lots of things that are going to be messy and you're never going to done before, and that's totally fine. But the willingness and just the right type of woman is really, really important to me. And that's why we have the application process. So come and fill that out, if you're interested to learn more, so you can apply. It doesn't mean that you're 100% committed yet. I'll review that and then we'll chat more. And I can ask, follow-up questions based off of what you mentioned in the application. So I mentioned as well earlier a few times, and I think you're probably getting the idea now, why in-person human connection is so important. Okay. Number one, and you know this by now, hopefully, if you've been following this podcast for a while, community is how we heal, especially with something as complicated as our relationship with food and our relationship with self. These are not paths that we can go on alone. We can't. We just can't. We'll always have our blinders on. We only see what we're going to see. And until we have other people in our lives that can be our mirrors, whether that's a coach or a therapist or your best friend or a group of other amazing women on this path with you, we will never fully break out of our tunnel vision, right? We're never going to see alternative ways of thinking and being and doing and acting and behaving and showing up in the world if all we see is what's right in front of us. So we need other people in our lives to open this up, and for us to also know that we're not alone. It is so heartbreaking to me that so many of you, even listening to this podcast, are sitting there thinking, I'm the only one with this certain problem. Whatever problem it is. Maybe it's even struggles with your husband or your partner, or it's, challenges at work or loss and grief. You're not alone. I've been doing this working with women in this way for over 7 years, and everyone's story is unique but the same. Everyone's, especially as women, we all struggle with the same thing with a different flavor, right? It might be a story that's slightly different, but at the root, it's still the fear of failure or the self-hate or the lack of love, right? Like it's still the same core at the core. So community is important. And as I've mentioned earlier, we just can't do a lot of what we need to do to fully heal on Zoom. We do our best, and absolutely we can really come a far way. I've seen that. I mean, in each of my programs, there are massive transformations by the end with really reconnecting and building a new healthy relationship with food and self. But we just can't do some of the things that I really want to do, to be honest. I've learned a lot of really amazing practices and exercises that are only in person. We can't do in Zoom. They involve physical contact. They involve eyes. They involve things that we just need to be in human contact with. And these are some of the exercises that I'm going to be bringing into the retreat that I'm so excited about. And a lot of these are even emotional release techniques, right? We're going to be definitely spending some time tapping into things like grief and anger, and really being in person in that is going to be an important part of the process. So when it comes to community and the importance of obviously the safe space that I take very seriously in creating, I don't want you to just take my word for it. I actually have a little clip that I want to play for you right now from a past member, an alumni of both of my programs. Actually, she went through both the Emotional Empowerment Program and the Break Free from Sugar program. Angeline came on one of my live workshops a few years ago and shared this really powerful sentiment about the power of community for her, and this safe space that I create when we come together in women. And she's obviously talking about this on Zoom virtually, but this is going to be amplified tenfold in what we're going to be doing in person together at this retreat. So here's what Angeline had to say.
You don't have to do it alone, and having that support. So that's the other thing I just really want to share, is that if you've had some bad experiences with groups in the past, or just even family social interactions in general, with having opportunities to safely share emotions, that's the whole point of Danny's group, is having this opportunity to really rewire your brain in the sense of you now have a safe space. And that truly is Danny's superpower. And honestly, I think Tracy and others could probably attest to this as well. Literally, I had no context for what it meant to be in a group of women and safely share. So until you get into Danny's group, you don't even know how powerful it is.
All right. So I hope that really hit home for you and really helps solidify, the importance here of what we're doing together in community. Now, I want to highlight a few things here, because as I mentioned earlier, when I talked about the application process for this retreat, I mentioned that it's really important that the women who are joining are here for the right reasons. So I want to mention who this retreat is actually for. You might be listening to this going, well, I don't know. Like, is this actually what I need? Is this actually the next step for me? How do I know if, I'm the right fit? Right? And obviously fill out the application anyway if you're not sure, or book a call with me if you're not sure. Okay, we can talk about it and I'll tell you if you're a good fit. But ultimately, this retreat is for women who are ready to create a more mindful and peaceful relationship with food, with their body, and themselves. It's for you if you're ready to actually uncover, right? Bring awareness to and heal the root causes of your sugar addiction. So beyond the mind, the under layer of what's really going on. It's also going to be for you if you're tired of feeling alone in this healing journey, right? And you're ready to create real deep friendships and to actually experience and embody what actual deep connection feels like. Most of us have never had that, and that is one of the gifts that I'm going to be giving you at this retreat, is this experience of, wow, this is what it feels like to really connect with someone. This is also going to be for you if you're tired of using food, right, and sugar to escape when life gets hard, when difficult emotions come up, and you want to actually learn new tools to support yourself and your emotional health in a nourishing way. So you'll have your toolbox ready for when you go home. This is also for women who are ready to release the emotional baggage and the trauma, right, the imprint from the nervous system, so that you can fully feel alive and free in your body again. Also, if you are ready to discover who you really are, we're going to be doing a lot of this. This is a big piece of the work here, is really peeling back the layers of the onion to discover our truth, who we really are. What do I really believe in? What are my values? And to fully step into your power, this amazing power and your voice that matters. Right? We're going to be doing all of this and so much more at the retreat. If any of that resonates with you, then you are in the right place, and we hope that you'll join us. Now, equally as important, this retreat is not for you. This is not for you. If you're listening to this, you're looking for a quick fix. You want to just come detox from sugar for 5 days and be totally healed and everything's fixed in one go. This is also not going to be for you if you're still playing victim. If you're still living life blaming everyone for your problems, blaming everyone for how you feel, for what's going on in your life. Now, acknowledging that many of you might be doing that, but ready to change that. And that's welcome, of course. But if you want to stay in your victim mentality, you're not going to be a good fit for this community. Also, not a good fit for you if you're not willing to support others. The biggest piece of this retreat is that we're all going to show up for each other and co-create this community of safety. And if you're not willing or able right now to support other women, to hold space for them, to let them process, and to be willing to get a little bit out of your comfort zone with some of the activities that I'm going to be asking us to do, then this isn't going to be a good fit for you. And I really want to make this clear. This retreat is not just a weekend away to blow off steam and relax. I know a lot of us have been to yoga retreats or spiritual retreats or relaxation and health retreats where it's all about just laying around relaxing all day. And that's not what this retreat is about. This retreat is actively calling you to participate in your own healing and obviously resting and relaxing in between. We're going to be having a beautiful balance of both. So it's don't worry about that. But I just want to make it clear that you're going to be doing some work here. This isn't just a relaxation retreat. That will be a part of it, but also equally a big part of it is doing the work and showing up for all the workshops, showing up for your fellow sisters, and being willing to participate in the scheduling. So if any of that resonates with you, no worries. You can stop listening to this podcast now and move on because this might not be a good fit for you. So I want to now mention what makes this retreat so unique. I've tried to communicate this on the registration page, but of course it's so hard in written word to really talk about. But it's important for you to understand this is not just a sugar detox retreat. This is not just let's come together, relax, eat healthy food, detox from sugar together. There's actually a lot of pieces that I'm curating very, very strategically in this retreat that make it very unique and like something that I've never attended and I've never seen exist out there in the world. So one of the things I've already mentioned is we are going to be having a really amazing balance between fun and deep work. So we're going to have lots of room for fun and play and laughter and hanging out with our new best friends, our sisters, and really being in that energy. And at the same time, we're also going to be doing some deep work. There's going to be a lot of room for feeling our pain, feeling our feelings, processing what needs to be processed, talking about really difficult things, and learning from each other. So this balance is really unique and really important. And I feel like when we are healing our relationship with food, we need to have both, right? Because we're balancing the energies of fun and play and difficult stuff, possibly difficult stuff. Right. And in that, another thing that I'm building in that is very unique is making sure that there is lots of time for rest. So we are going to be doing some big stuff and it's going to be well supported. You will be well supported. Please don't be scared of this. It's actually really beautiful and very healing to get into our emotions, to get into our pain, get into these spaces when we're held in safety. But we're also going to need a lot of time for rest. So one of the things that, I don't know about you, one of the things that I hate, I've been to a lot of retreats where this is the case, and it just makes me leave the retreat feeling even more exhausted than when I came. So I'm going to make sure, and I'm building into the schedule, lots of time for rest. So we're going to have multiple pockets of time each day for integration. And this is going to be free time for you to go down to the beach, for you to sit with your journal, for you to go for a walk, whatever it is that you feel you need. Okay, so I'm going to really make sure that we're not rushing. And I think that's a really important piece that I'm taking very seriously as the organizer. I don't want you to leave. You're not going to leave feeling exhausted. I want you to feel rested. You're going to feel nourished and you're going to feel changed. Another really cool thing that we're doing that I'm so excited to share with you, I haven't mentioned this too much on the registration page, but when it comes to meals, when it comes to cooking and eating and what we're doing, one of the things that you're going to be, again, actively participating in creating a new relationship with food. Okay. And in that, you're going to be cooking your own meals. And how I'm going to structure this, which is really fun, is I will be creating teams. So there will be at least 3 people in the kitchen at one time. You will have a recipe. I have perfectly curated the meal plan for the week. And you will have guidelines and instructions as to how to prepare the meal. And you're going to learn how new skills and tools in the kitchen. You're going to learn how to connect deeply with your food and actually how to enjoy cooking again. I know so many of you listening hate cooking or think it's a waste of time or think cooking healthy, blood sugar friendly meals is boring. And that's just not the case. So I'm going to be teaching you, and I'll be there sometimes in the kitchen with you. We might do some cooking classes together, but this is really going to be a hands-on experience where we'll be taking turns creating the nourishing and loving meals with the incredibly high vibrational foods that I'm going to be bringing in to provide for the group and for this experience. So this is going to be an important part of your education during this retreat will be practicing your kitchen skills, becoming more confident in the kitchen, and learning actually how to make it fun again. So I'm really excited about this. It's so fun. We did this actually at that entrepreneurial retreat that I hosted years ago, and it worked so well. And it's so fun to be in community in the kitchen. And that is literally how we're meant to cook as women. We're meant to do these things in community. We're meant to cook together, to clean together, to rear the children together, to, forage together. These are really important parts of what it means to be feminine and to be in our femininity. And of course, one of the other really unique things here is because of the work that we're going to be doing together, you're going to be creating lifetime friendships here. Beyond, what I've been able to create in the online courses that I host, this is going to be such a depth of connection. And I'm actually going to make sure to create ways for us to stay connected after this retreat, because each of you are going to create such a bond that is really going to carry you through years in the future. I am still in some really amazing chats and groups with people that I participated in retreats with 2 or 3 years ago. And we still chat and check in and support each other when someone needs help. And it's really, really beautiful to have that connection and to know that, again, I've got these people I can lean on when I need them. So those are just a handful of things that make this retreat unique. And because of that, I'm actually going to talk about this in a little bit, but because of that, the location that I've chosen is this big, beautiful house for us to all inhabitate together for those 5 days, as opposed to, I had thought a lot about this, as opposed to renting a retreat center where they cook all the meals for us and we all have our own separate rooms. This is really an important part of creating this energy together and this container together. So there's nobody else there. Nobody that hasn't been invited is going to be on the property. You're not going to have to talk to strangers. We're really creating this, kind of this little oasis getaway together, right? Where we get to just disconnect from the world, reconnect to ourselves and each other, and just really sink into it. So what are we going to actually be exploring together? I know I mentioned this on the registration page, but I'm going to say some of these things here because there's a lot that we're going to cover. And obviously we can only do so much in 5 days, but I'm going to be curating this so that even while we're eating our meals, we're doing some of this, right? We're doing some of the work. Even when you don't even know you're doing some of the work, we're going to be doing some of the work. So I'm going to be definitely bringing in, and actually I'll mention this, the official retreat schedule will be sent to all the participants a few weeks before the retreat actually begins. And this is because we're going to co-create a little bit. Those who have already registered, I've sent you a questionnaire. We're going to be engaging in. I want to know what you need most, and I'll be able to curate the specific workshops and activities that I want to bring in based off of who's attending and what they need. So we're going to be co-creating this a little bit, which is one of the reasons why I don't set a schedule in advance, because this isn't my retreat. This is our experience together. And it's really important for me to have the feedback to know what you need to make the most out of this 5 days together. And I want to bring that to you. But some of the things that I know we're going to be exploring are various somatic therapy techniques, somatic coaching techniques. So this, again, is about getting us into the body. We're going to be doing a lot of emotional processing, which kind of goes hand in hand with the somatic techniques. One of the really best somatic emotional processing techniques is breath work. And we're going to be doing that. I'm actually bringing in my personal breath work teachers, facilitators, Damien and Sam. You can see their bios at the bottom of the retreat registration page. They're coming in to host a breath work circle. We're going to be doing that one of the days, which is going to be so powerful. I'm very, very excited about that. Of course, we're going to be doing lots of grounding practices, cooking classes, self-love and self-trust exercises. We're also going to be practicing, when it comes to the food stuff, intermittent fasting, sugar detox, right? You're going to have at least a 5-day sugar detox while we're together for sure. And we're going to be teaching you how to intermittent fast as well, or helping you continue that process if that's new to you. It's a total cleanse, emotional, physical, mental cleanse that we're going to be doing together in these 5 days. We're also going to be doing a lot of connection to play and pleasure. Okay. And in combination with that, inner child work. We're going to be doing some inner child healing, connecting to our inner child, beginning or continuing to build that relationship, because that's where the wounds are, really. We're going to be doing some sacred ceremonies. I've got some very beautiful ceremonies planned for us as well. As, of course, mindful eating practices. We're going to actually play with our food. We're going to be doing a few different exercises at meal times to help us see our food and connect with our food in a different way. We're going to be doing some conscious dance and movement. I'm actually so excited. I'm curating the perfect playlist for our ecstatic dance party. We're going to have a dance party together on one of the days to really again, as a tool to drop in, to release emotions, but also to connect with our bodies in different ways. And of course, in all of that, we're going to be spending some beautiful time in nature. So there's going to be time for hiking and forest bathing and meditating in nature, ocean swimming, the sauna that is on the property as well, and so much more. So that's just a little teaser of some of the things that we're going to be getting into. One of the other questions that I know comes up here, and I know a lot of you have, is, well, what's included? And again, you can see this on the registration page, but I'll mention it here, is I'm really curating a retreat package that is going to be the most potent and supportive, powerful healing possible. So what's included here is 4 nights in the accommodation. Depending on the accommodation you choose, the price will be different. 4 nights of accommodation is included at this gorgeous beachfront property. The house is literally right on the beach. There are a few stairs to get down to the beach, and then you're in the ocean, which is so beautiful. And we even have access to some kayaks and paddle boards. Like, there's going to be a lot of ocean time playing, and we'll probably even do some practices down at the beach. Connecting with the ocean is energetically a really important part of what we're going to be doing together. And of course, included those 5 days of various workshops, exercises, healing tools that I'm going to be exposing and introducing all of you to. You're going to have 2 big nourishing meals every day with a snack in between. So this is part of the intermittent fasting plan. We're not having 3 big meals a day. We're going to actually push that a little bit. And I'm going to be encouraging all of you to practice, giving our digestive systems a nice break overnight, an extended break to really encourage the cleansing process. Do not worry, though. There will be a lot of food. There will be lots of time in between in our eating window to have snacks, and I'll make sure that there's space for that in the schedule. Of course, you're going to have unlimited tea and snacks. There's always going to be stuff available to support you. We're going to be doing the 5-day sugar detox support together. Sauna is obviously included, the nature. I'm also putting together a retreat workbook. So we're going to be having sort of a manual, a guidebook, maybe that's the better term, that is going to be your resource for the whole week. So we're going to really have a lot of space there to use that. That's going to be your takeaway. You're going to take notes in it. You're going to be working through exercises in this workbook. I'm also going to be offering and curating for you a retreat cookbook. So the meals that we cook at this retreat that I'm curating for you, I'm going to put into a cookbook, a PDF cookbook for all of you to have and to take home with you so that you can continue these, nourishing meals at home. And we're also going to set up a call to meet each other and connect 1 week before the retreat to set our intentions, to really just get to know each other, to get started in the process. So when we get to the retreat, we can drop in. We've already met each other. We can get into it right away. And then a week after the retreat, I will be coordinating a group call as well for integration. So we get to stay in connection after and see how everybody's transition home went, how everybody's feeling, because there's a lot of stuff that's going to keep coming up in the weeks after the retreat, and making sure that you have the support for that's really important. So there's a lot here. Calls, the 5 days, accommodation, the meals, everything is going to be included here for you, as well as some surprises. So I'm purposely not listing a few things publicly because I want to keep some things surprised for all of you. So I'm definitely going to make sure to have some fun surprises for everyone who attends. And I know that you're just really going to love those. Okay, another question that I'm getting is like, what are we eating, right? What are we going to be eating? So again, this is something that we will co-create. Again, once you are registered, you will be sent a questionnaire, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of your dietary restrictions and what you need and all that. But overall, our retreat meal plan is really obviously going to be focused on optimal blood sugar regulation. So what this means is meals will be consisting of like high quality meat, protein, healthy fats, and yes, some complex carbohydrates. So, understandable that we all have different diets. I know some of you listening are maybe more vegetarian or pescatarian or even vegan, and we can have those conversations. Please reach out to me because I am wanting to work with you and make sure that you're comfortable with what you are eating. And, I will be making accommodations where necessary. So this isn't set in stone. I want to make sure everybody's feeling comfortable in what they have, as well as finding that balance between making sure that you are, managing your blood sugar really and properly detoxing from sugar, right? Properly getting off the spikes, the blood sugar spikes. And that is really hard to do on a vegan diet with legumes and grains and all of that. And we're going to try our best to leave most of those out so we can get you some high quality protein and fats. And then with the complex carbohydrates and vegetables and all those good things that we're going to have. So that's just a note on that, but please don't let that hold you back if you have any concerns about your diet. We're also going to be avoiding gluten and mostly going to be avoiding dairy. There may be a little bit, but I'll make sure there's dairy-free options as well. Those are two things that I'm very considerate of. We're going to be avoiding all the processed stuff. So a lot of the food and the things that I'm bringing to you will be made from scratch. I will make it, or you're going to be making it there together. Food is going to be purchased as organic and local wherever possible. I'm going to be doing a lot of the shopping for the retreat at local farmers markets. And really, the intention is to bring as much nourishment and love into the food as possible. As well as really important to mention, the meat that we will be eating is extremely high quality. A lot of it is actually coming from my personal stash and my personal source of either wild caught, hunted, or locally, organically raised and grown meat that I'm really, really excited to share with all of you. It feels really important. And the quality is just really of high importance. So that is very much going to be a part of the food. If you have any questions about that, again, book a call with me, reach out, email me, let me know. And the last couple things that I'll mention here about the retreat, and if you have any other questions that I'm not answering, of course, reach out to me. But why did I choose this house? I think I mentioned that just a little bit before, but I want to highlight some of the really cool things about this house is because we have 2 floors and we have this massive house all to ourselves. And this is actually the house that I did my somatic embodiment training at in January. So I just had the gift of being in this house and being in this environment, and the energy was just so potently magical. I knew this is where I need to host my retreat. And that was actually the start of planning this retreat, was being in this house, I was so inspired, imagining us there together, in the living room on the big, beautiful deck overlooking the ocean, and in the eating nook, having all of our meals together and sharing stories. I could really see it and feel it. And that's a huge part of why I chose this house. And it's exactly the energy and the vibe that I'm looking for, right? This beautiful, secluded oasis, or we have this privacy to just be in our own little worlds, this own little, pocket for 5 days together. And it's so beautiful. It's so perfect. I'm so excited to share this house with all of you, and to just live together and to be in each other's energy as we do this work together is going to be so, so incredible. Now, when it comes to the accommodation, at the time of recording this, I am happy, but also sad, if you haven't registered yet, to mention that the private rooms have all sold out. We only had a handful of private rooms. They're sold out, but we still do have incredible, beautiful shared rooms available. And I'll mention about the shared rooms. There will be no more than 2 women in each room. So you're not sharing a room with 6 other women. There's 2 beds in the shared rooms, and that will be the maximum that you'd be sharing with. And it's really incredible. It's really lovely to get to even build deeper bonds with your roommate in this way. Or if you want to take your connection to nature and your grounding practices more seriously, I'm so excited to also be offering camping. We do have some spaces out in front of the big house overlooking the ocean. It's actually the closest to the ocean will be the camping spots on the beautiful lawn. And I am offering two options there if you want to bring your own tent and set up, or if you want to pay a little more, you can have your tent and your bed already set up for you when you arrive, fully functioning, fully ready for you to just jump in and have a nap right away. So the camping is a really awesome option. And personally, that is always the option I love to take, especially in these warm months of the year. There's something really magical that happens with sleeping close to the earth, right? And the fresh air and listening to the night sounds under the moon. Like it's a really listening to the waves at night. I mean, we hear that from the house as well, but it's so beautiful. So don't let, if you're afraid of camping, don't let that fear you. I know a lot of you coming from far and away, we actually do not have a lot of bugs here. I know that's a big concern for a lot of you. Really lucky, especially by the ocean. There's a nice breeze. So we usually don't have a lot of mosquitoes, don't have a lot of those icky bugs that I know a lot of you struggle with where you live. So that's kind of a gift as well. So it's really easy to camp outside. So that is, options as well. And really, really going to set those up. You're not going to be sleeping on some sort of uncomfortable mat if you choose the setup for you option. I'm going to make sure that you've got a really comfortable bed and you're going to be in your own little luxury tent sort of situation as well. So we've got those options still available. And if any of this speaks to you, thank you for listening to all of this Q&A. It's really fun to just share from my heart more about this experience that I'm creating and that I'm inviting all of you to. And right now, really, the next step, if you're still listening to this, we both know that there's a reason, right? You're curious, you're interested, right? You're thinking, well, could this be for me? I've never done something like this before. I'm kind of scared, and that's all okay. So the next step and my ask for you now is to come and apply. Come over to the registration page. The link is below this episode. And more importantly, book a chat with me. Let's talk before you register. This is really important. Or reach out by email if you have any questions, if you'd rather do it that way. But it's really, I really am such an open space here for you to ask questions. I know that this is a big investment for a lot of you, especially if you're having to fly in or travel far. And I'm here to really support with all the travel plans as much as I can. We're going to make sure to have all of those details set up. So don't worry about all those pieces, the logistics. I'm here to support you with that. And we'll make sure to transportation and all those things are going to be supported and taken care of for you. So come apply, come join us. And as I said, if you still have questions, reach out. I will mention the last thing that I want to mention here for any of you who are thinking, oh, I know the timing maybe doesn't work this year, or just I'll do the next one. Because this is my first retreat that I'm hosting in this way, right? In this focus, I'm actually offering the retreat at a discounted rate. So I've already taken that into account that this is the first time we're going to be really offering a lower price than I normally would. So this is actually your chance now to come and work with me in person in this incredible container in this way before I raise my prices. So the next time I host this retreat, the prices will be going up. I just want to make that really clear because I know sometimes it's easy for us to say, well, I'll do it later. I'll catch the next one. And sometimes we regret that. And I don't want you to regret that. So if you need to move some things around to make this happen, I highly encourage that because next time it will be more expensive. And I don't know when there will be a next time. So to be honest with all of you, I'm going to host this one. We're going to see how it goes. And then I'm going to decide and maybe set dates for the next one based off of what I learn from, round one. So that's part of, the discounted rate that you get. You're coming in, we're doing this for the first time together, and it's not going to be perfect. And that's great because we all can use some space to let go of perfectionism, right? And to navigate that and use that as a tool for healing. So I hope that you'll join us. I hope that this was a helpful episode. Thank you for tuning in and listening to all of this. And I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited to be in person, and to hug you. If you're those who are joining, obviously, just to really, really bring this healing to the next level. I know that this is my purpose, and I hope that this resonates with you. I hope that you are going to listen to that part of you that knows this is the next step for you, knows that you need a weekend away to work on yourself and to give yourself, like, joining this retreat is an act of self-love, incredible act of self-love. I'm going to commit 5 days to myself and my own healing is such a gift. And I hope from the bottom of my heart that you are going to give yourself that gift and come and join us. Thank you, everyone, for listening again. And I look forward to hearing from you, seeing your application forms come in, and of course, seeing any chatting with you or any emails if you have any questions. All right, we'll see you there. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. If you're loving what we talked about today, please remember to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone you love. And if you're ready to dive deeper into discovering your root causes and patterns that are keeping you hooked on sugar, be sure to check out our brand new free workshop series that will help you kick emotional eating for good. Find the link to download this free series and other amazing resources in the show notes below.